Hi, we're here with JM Smuckers' Tina Meyer-Hawkes, and she's Vice President of Marketing for the coffee brands. And we're going to talk about how IBM blockchain's helping out traceability in the coffee supply chain. Hi, thanks for joining us. And I guess for starters, let's just walk through the project and what you were hoping to do.
Perfect. So JM Smucker is partnered with IBM and Farmer Connect to basically, give some visibility to both ends of the spectrum. So be it the consumer and the farmer. And the reason that's so important is coffee in general is a pretty complex supply chain. There's up to 25 million smallholder farms, and there's a lot of transitions along the way, be it paper, financial. So really kind of getting that transparency across the network was really important to us. For a couple of reasons. From a consumer standpoint, more and more consumers are looking for transparency in their supply chain. They want to know where their products are coming from. So the consumer has this need to really kind of understand the supply chain, and this is one way of doing this. And then on the farmer side, what's really nice about this program is when the consumers scan the barcode on our 1850 100% Colombian coffee, they can see that supply chain all the way from the farmer region all the way through that bag of coffee. And so when they get there, when they get to the Thank You Farmer webpage, they have an opportunity, if they choose, to donate to some of those projects that are supported in that region. It could be things like supplies for school or clean water initiatives or seeds, basically for the coffee farmers. So that's one way it helps the farmers. But also, all those transactions along the way, as this becomes a more robust program, that helps the farmers with financial records so that they can then have more opportunities for loans. So the intent of this program is really visibility for the consumer as it's becoming most important to them along the way, and then for farmers to have another source for income, which is obviously critical for their livelihood.
How long did it take to set this project up?
We've been in conversations with IBM and Farmer Connect now for probably, oh goodness, I'd say just over a year, but it hasn't taken that long to set up. It's been about 6 months of really investment of time and energy going behind the program.
Do you see this expanding beyond bag coffee? Like for those of us that do the little Keurig things?
Yeah, so the good news is with 100% Colombian, it's one region of farmers. So the intent of picking this one first was really around kind of ensuring that all the kinks are worked out, that we can understand where this one region and all the different transactions that occur. The reason we picked 1850 is 1850 is the founding year of Folgers. So 1850 is actually a sub-brand of Folgers. And what's really cool about that is J.A. Folgers had this really pioneering spirit. Again, with that being the founding year of when he started the business, he was kind of traveling out west, helping these gold miners with their coffee needs along the way. So it was really kind of interesting to have this, pioneering spirit to be the first coffee that we started with. And he introduced cupping to the world. And cupping is really the opportunity to, understand the nuances of the flavor of coffee, the way you might with wine. So it just kind of all feeds together. So, and our ideal is to really use this as our kind of kicking off point to understand one region, because as you can imagine, with more complex coffees that come from multiple contributing regions, it's a little bit more to manage. So if we can understand it with one region, then we can expand it over time to even more regions.
Can you walk me through, I mean, is there a timeline to figure out how long this would take to put through your whole coffee supply chain? And is that a plan?
That's a great question. I think this is really our first way in. So we'll have to just explore whether or not, this is something we need a lot of participation in the supply chain. We work with nearly 24 source countries, and there's, lots and lots of different connections, importers, exporters, transportation. So we would need a lot of participation to really kind of bring it to all of our coffees. But the intent is to, try it with this one first, prove out, how it works. I know for IBM, this isn't new to them, it is new to us. So to make sure that we can really understand how it works for coffee before we go big. But yeah, we'd love to have it go bigger. Whether it's everything, I think is kind of, yet to be determined.
So you would almost have to dangle, there'd have to be some financial benefit for the farmer and suppliers and importers to make it really work.
Absolutely, yes. To the earlier point, it has to be advantageous to everyone from the consumer all the way down to the farmer. Absolutely.
And would this blockchain effort for you guys fall under like social good or ESG kind of investing? I guess how do you view it within Smuckers?
Yeah, I would say always starts with the consumer. So as mentioned, consumers are expecting more transparency. So we want to make sure we're meeting the needs of our consumers. But also it's important, for the long-term health of the coffee industry that we have a really healthy coffee supply. And for farmers, they have a lot of challenges, whether it's the volatile coffee pricing. They have relatively low income. They sometimes have limited access to credit. If they have a bad, weather season, they can have disease in their crops. So having, the ability for consumers to truly invest in this region, and also, kind of allow them, again, as mentioned, these kind of trackable records that can allow them to have more financing opportunities is really kind of the benefit on the downstream. So that's kind of the intent. So it's really, we start with the consumers. We know how critical the health of the livelihoods of the farmers are for long-term supply. So it's really, it speaks to consumers, the health of their business, health of our business. It kind of covers all those different dynamics.
All righty. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.